Hello and welcome to the channel. Now today is just a little, probably not even 5-minute long video. Today I've had this 2013 Range Rover Evoque in. The owner's not owned it very long, she's only owned it like I think a month, 2 months, something like that. And she's had it back to the place where she bought it from because of this knocking, banging noise coming from the front end. Now the first time it happened they replaced a spring on the passenger side front as it was obviously broken. And it kept doing it, so she took it back. They said it was a misaligned spring, so they did something else to it and it's still knocking, so she took it back again and I think they're just giving her a load of crap. So she's got in touch with me, asked if I can have a look at it. So yeah, no problem. And the actual fault of this is the shocker top bearing is not being fitted correctly. So on the Evoques you've got to align the shocker top bearing up correctly, otherwise it knocks all the caster angle out, it knocks all sorts out on the suspension. And what it's actually doing, I'll just take you over to the bench, but I've had to replace the full mounting with the bearing as well. So I'll just get the camera set up and I'll show you what has happened, what has gone wrong, and the reason obviously to why it's been driving so bad and knocking pretty bad as well. So here we have the shocker top. Obviously this bit is mounted to the car, your spring comes up and sits on here, and when you turn the steering this rotates. So what's happened is when I've took it off I've marked where the position is, because as soon as I jacked it up in the air I could see straight away what was wrong. And if you look at that, straight away the angle is wrong here. So what they've done is they've fitted this, they've obviously not marked it up when they've removed the spring, and we've all done it. I'll hold my hands up and say, yep, I've done that. But now I always mark things up. So if I've got a broken spring, take it off, mark it up, and then you can be sure everything goes back in the right place. So I've actually replaced the lot, because as you can see there's a little locating lug there which locates into the mounting. So you can't get that out. Well, you can, but anyway. So yeah, and if you look there, it's obviously in the wrong position. And what it's done, because it's in that position, you imagine the shock absorber going straight, that is pushing on the shock absorber. So when she's turning the steering wheel, it's banging, and it's putting so much pressure on that bearing that it is really rough now. So it's locking up when there's the weight of the car and it's locking up. So it's, if she's turning the steering and going over bumps, so you imagine the shaft of the shocker going through, it's bang, bang, bang. And when she's turning the steering, it's jolting the spring, which causes a really loud noise. The other little thing that's been happening, as well as it rubbing away, I don't know if you can see how elongated that is there, but that's been rubbing away for a while, and it's, as I say, these are under quite a severe tension. Well, this one was anyway, and that's why it was banging so much. But because this is mounted to the top, the bolt, when it's been turning, so when it's just turning the steering, it's actually been loosening off the nut at the top of the shocker because the shaft cannot move. So the only way it's been moving, it's been twisting the shocker, obviously the mount's stopping there, and the nut has been winding itself off. So I couldn't get her in straight away, so I left it, said booked her in for about 3 or 4 days later, I think it was. And when she brought the car this morning, she says it's absolutely banging like mad over bumps now. And that's why, just because all the shock absorber on the passenger side was locked up solid and it was loosening the nut. And the only thing they did wrong really was get it 180 degrees out. So I'll just remove, so yeah, I'll just show you that before I do that. That is the correct position. So as you can see now, that was where it was before, so the shocker's going through, and that is where it's supposed to be. So the shaft is not catching on any of the bushing, it's not catching on the top bearing, and it's absolutely destroyed it really. So this is just a quick video on aligning these. On some cars you don't have to align them, on the Evoques you do. So, and it's really important that you do this. So the little lug on the back, so obviously that is where you align it. So you've got the lug in there, which was that one, and you've got the lug at the back. So if I put it all back together now, that is how it should be. So this is the back. I line those up, and then the caster, everything is correct. So it must have drove horrible, this thing. I didn't even have to, do you know what, I got in it and I drove it from outside into the workshop, and you could tell instantly there's something wrong. Next door was putting an alarm on, that's what that is. So yeah, that's another reason I replaced the top, because as you can see in there, it was a little bit damaged from where the nut has been scraping. Obviously when it's been loosening off, the shock has been banging up and down. Luckily it's not damaged the shock absorber, so she's really lucky with that. And quite a good job she brought it in when she did, because that could have been quite bad. So yeah, this is just a really quick video on if you're doing springs on Evoques, make sure you line these up. I hope you found this video useful. We've all done it, but when you're taking springs off, mark where they go, because you know you're going to do some damage if you're fitting them like that. Line it up, job's a good one. I've not come across it before on one of these Evoques. This is the first time I've come across this, but it's been in and out of a few places, mainly from where she bought it from, until she brought it to me, and it was straight away, you jacked it up, you could see there was something wrong. You could see there was something wrong, well, you could feel there was something wrong when you were driving it. So yes, just be aware there is a proper procedure for these. So I've replaced the top. I've had to go to Land Rover today to pick up the genuine bits. I replaced the bearing because it was under so much tension, and it is actually, when I rotate it now, it's really rough, so it's not going to last long if I just turn it round. And I've replaced the top as a precaution because of the damage in there. So yes, another Evoque video for everybody. I hope you enjoyed that one. It's only a small one, as I say. I didn't record it because obviously I didn't know my findings until I'd actually stripped it and put it back together. I've just been on a road test in the car now, and it's fine now, it's lovely. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.